Hi, this recording is my remarks and observations on what transpired at the Nessah Board meeting of Directors on Thursday evening, March 16th, 2017, which is about more than 10 days ago. I would like to also provide a window to the bigger picture of what is happening at this community center. At that meeting, 10 of 13 board members were present, along with some volunteers and uh, members who were sitting there and observing the proceedings. Also present was Mr. Farid Novian, attorney at law, who has been present at most of the board meetings during the current term and has acted as the board attorney. Absent members were Dr. Parviz Okhovat and Messrs. Leon Farahnik and Maurice Shamuni. First, I would like to discuss with you what happened which caused me to walk out of the board meeting in protest to the unjustified taking over of the meeting by Mr. Farhad Zemorodi and the concurrent inaction by Mr. Farhad Purbaba, the president of the board, who basically did not do anything to stop this. To some, this may be another petty and forgivable happening, but not when you look at it in the larger perspective. As it has happened many times in the past few months, once again, Mr. Zomorodi showed he does not have any limit in his bad mouthing and defamation of anyone he decides to target or feels he has not performed according to his standards. I think we can all agree on one thing that there is not many people who are exempt from this treatment at Nessah, except a couple of people at the present board whom I will address later. Now, you as a board member either do not care as to what happens at Nessah or its standing in the community, or maybe you do not think very highly of some other board members. Maybe for personal reasons you feel that being evasive and quiet about somebody hijacking board meetings is perfectly fine as long as it does not affect you. And you go about your way, you come to the meetings and leave. But you are mistaken. Sorry that I have to state the obvious. What Mr. Zamorodi does is not right, is not normal, and should not be acceptable. When he seemingly has a special pass to come in, and after 3 years declare an emergency on electrical work, pass on his prepared papers, and completely take over a meeting which still has 7 different unfinished and urgent items remaining is not normal, is not acceptable, and should not be tolerated. More abnormal and questionable is when the president of the board sits idly by and does not take any step to stop him. Dear friends and acquaintances, in this instance, there is no gray area. I ask you to unite on this clear issue and stop what is wrong. Mr. Novian, I have come to respect you as a professional attorney. You do not frequent Nessah. You have represented other board members where we have had differences within the board. Nevertheless, you are a knowledgeable man about conducting of meetings and proceedings of a body. You work hard in preparing a code of ethics and code of conduct for the board members. Don't you think this applies to the ones who are not board members and come in and take over board proceedings? I ask you to show your impartiality and support censoring Mr. Zamorodi's presence at the board meetings. Mr. Farhad Purbaba, you must do what is right. After 10 days that have passed from this incident, when Dr. Sadiq, in a letter copied to all other board members, requests you to do the right thing, you only respond in addressing the electrical issue. Nothing else happened there? Are you afraid of something? What are you afraid of? Why aren't you doing what is right? Why haven't you done anything to resolve this matter? Forget about personalities here. Doesn't this organization deserve a proper handling of its meetings? Dear board members and friends, what Mr. Zamorodi is doing is not so unusual and unexpected if you put it in perspective and see the continuous personal attacks against me and Simon Etihad from day one of this new term started in early 2016. When the alignments, and I should say the indifferences of some board members became clear to the ones who had planned this process. You see, what Mr. Zamorodi is in fact doing is the continuation of the plan to marginalize, defame, and stigmatize myself and Simon Etihad and anyone who has supported us. You would naturally ask why. Why would in a synagogue and a Jewish community center such outlandish claim be made? In a setting where we are supposedly following a higher moral code, which we all claim to follow. When at the first session of the board meeting of the new board, many Nessah supporters were invited to see the start of the new board and the so-called unity, Mr. Mehdi Surudi, after 2 years of mostly being quiet, launched a surprise attack against me and Simon. He accused us of misappropriation and overspending funds. He accused us of having no budget, where the president, who is now the president of the board, was the person in charge of budget during our term. And he even never convened any meetings on this issue. All these happened at a meeting to show unity. Why did he do that? A month later, with a letter to me from our president, which accused me of moral turpitude and fraud. When I tried to resolve this matter quietly, he played around, leaving me no choice to respond forcefully to it. An accusation that he has never apologized for and taken back. The shameful marginalization of Simon Etihad from the Gabbai position at Simcha, someone who did so much in making Simcha Hall popular for new visitors and sacrificed his time and livelihood to advance Nessah. And the last instance being the shameful withholding of funds to Dr. Mordechai Kedar, whom I had invited, and I'm thankful to Leon Farahnik who helped resolve it. There are other instances that I will enumerate in an appropriate setting and occasion, and will not prolong these remarks. What Mr. Farhad Zamorodi is doing is being indeed a part of this plan, attacking us on different occasions for a variety of reasons and instances. What did we, that means me and Simon, do wrong? Was our style of managing Nessah so terrible that we deserve these attacks from the first board meeting onward? What do you want to accomplish? to have us leave our positions? I will tell you with confidence, and I know there are many Nessah members and supporters that do not think so. Dear board members and friends, you ask yourself why why this campaign of hate? Why this campaign of division? Why? Why these personal attacks? My answer is very simple. It is not very complicated. The reason is whatever has divided our people for centuries. Sinat chinam, baseless hatred. I sincerely think the fellow board members along Mr. Zamorodi who knowingly participate in this scheme do not know themselves what they are perpetuating. They may act as if they are helping Nessah, but in effect they are hurting Nessah and its standing. They might think they are serving a higher cause, but they are in fact hurting the community. Look at how much time and energy is wasted because of these actions. I ask you all, I ask Leon Farahnik, Dr. Okhovat, Dr. Elist, Dr. Mojgan Hakimi, Dr. Shaheen Sadiq, Mr. Maurice Shamuni, Mr. Jack Nurafshan, and Mr. Aaron Cohen, to step forward and stop this. I ask Fred Purbawa to take a bold stand for once and stop being a broker and show leadership. I ask Mr. Mehdi Surudi and Mr. Asher Ishaqpur, who are the closest to Fred Zamorodi, to stop this affair once and for all. You are ultimately responsible for this. And let me have a short comment on the emergency electrical issue. Normally, in a healthy and respectful atmosphere, issues like this should not be a major emergency. While I question Mr. Zamorodi's genuineness for waiting 3 years to bring this up, a meeting of experts on this matter should resolve it. I trust that a fair-minded person will not make any judgments by hearing only one side of the matter. As always, I am available and willing to talk in a brotherly and respectable manner on our issues and our differences to find solutions. Let us realize we have responsibility not only to the present community, but to our children, to our grandchildren, to handle these matters properly. Thank you for your attention.